It's 10:06. We'll call this meeting Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone please rise. This time I'd like to call on Commissioner Beecham to give the invocation.
Pray with me, please. Our good and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you today as a humble people, Lord, in asking your guidance and direction on our thoughts and our actions this morning in our court, Lord, that it would be for the best of our citizens, Lord, and for your honor and glory, Lord. We pray your protecting hand on those that are serving, Lord, to keep us free and to keep us safe in our communities, our first responders and our military, Lord. Lord, that you would just be with them, you would protect them and watch over them. Lord, just be with us as we deliberate our business. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, sir. Y'all join in. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Take your seats, please. If I could ask the court to review and take action on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda, Judge.
Thanks, sir.
And question two, I'll second that motion, and
Thanks,
I did
sir.
have a,
Yes, sir. Which number?
the Holiday ISD I had not looked at that, but I'm assuming it's in conjunction with the other agreements and it flows, and y'all are good with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good deal.
Yeah, had been doing, I think that agreement was one, this is getting them in line with how the other, timing on the other agreements.
Right.
But, that's, sidebar of that, when we were looking at things, we have 1,071 school districts in Texas, and we have 6 just in Wichita County, which is amazing.
Wow.
It's that little corner, isn't it, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Right, just there, east of Holiday and all. All right. Any questions or comments, anyone in the audience on the consent agenda items?
Just a comment, Judge, on item number 4, reappointments to the board of directors for our hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Gossam has been doing that for a long time, but Miss Rita Vokes, for the record, I want folks to realize that this lady is, she's very, 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 very smart, and I believe she was the president of the National
Yes,
Air Force
Nurses Association.
Nurses Association. She's a blessing, and if you've never met her, you need to take time to meet her. Rita Vokes is, it's outstanding that she volunteers her time to do that, and it helps us tremendously.
I'll second that.
Retired colonel too.
Yes,
Yes, extremely well thought of lady.
yes. Well, that's all I know.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item number 1, under general business, review and approve the regular bills for payment.
Move to approve.
Thanks, sir.
Second.
Any questions on any of the bills? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 2 is discuss, consider, or take action to correct Precinct 3 Constable David Blackberry's auto allowance from $2,000 to $3,000 a year for 2019, as stated on his salary allowance letter signed in July 2018. This $1,000 would be funded from surplus budget amounts in either salary and benefits major category first, and then supply and operation major category if needed. It was a typo, and Mr. Blackerby didn't catch it. The auditor's office brought it up and asked about it, and so we got that corrected, since that was what we had
When I
published.
discussed his budget with him, he had a question about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't answer it, and sure enough, he came back with the letter.
Okay.
And showed the letter to me, and I said, well, it's been a mistake, so that'll get us back on track.
Okay.
That's
All
where we
right.
need to be.
Then is that a motion, sir, to approve?
Yes,
it?
that is motion.
Second.
You know, I talked to him on the phone the other day, and he has come so far back from his
Oh,
cancer issue.
Blessing.
Yes, sir.
He had the evidence when he came back in. He
Yeah,
found the
well,
letter, so
yeah.
that was good.
Yeah.
That's why I never throw anything away, Judge, so you never know when you're gonna need it.
Well, and Nancy had it also, and, but that's why we ask everybody, we get that out. You know, you look at that budget, and
Yeah.
it's surprising there aren't more mistakes than there are. And that's why we count on those that are, to benefit what's in there, look at that. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 3 is discuss, consider, take action to purchase 2 chairs from the Hudson Blueprint for each county court at law courtroom to accommodate clerks for electronic filing at a cost of $301.40 each, for a total of $602.80 to be paid by transfer from lines served by Commissioner Beecham.
Yes, Judge, this is for the Tyler Go Live, since there's gonna be clerks in the CCLs, we're having to have a place to set them up. Working with Hudson's, they're going to bring temporary furniture in to accommodate the clerks initially until we can come up with a long-term solution. The long-term solution in CCL 1 would be to do some reconfiguration, moving the pony wall out, and taking the row of pews out in order to have enough room to accommodate the clerk in the courtroom. CCL 2 is going to be a little more difficult because of the design of the courtroom, but this is just to get the chairs for them to sit in right now with the borrowed furniture.
Did you look at those chairs in here?
We
have some-
We do have some chairs.
They're like these.
Yeah.
The 2 that we've replaced are sitting there.
We could use those, but.
Is this a mobile desk structure too that
Yeah,
kind
this
of
is,
moves?
well, no, this will be a permanent desk structure because of, well, it's gonna be hardwired into the internet. and
Oh,
everything,
okay.
So,
I'm just saying, they are seldom used there, and there's several of them in there to pick from. One does have a split in the material, and they just replaced it, but there were 2 that were right here in this row, and we got those other chairs.
So what do you want to do?
so we just go ahead and move forward with this purchase since they're helping us with temporary furnishings and everything else.
I'll second that motion, if we're getting temporary furniture out.
Why,
It's
they're
worse.
doing that, they've had millions of dollars spent with them from
Oh, they
this
have?
county. Yeah, Hudson Blueprint.
Blueprint?
Yes, all the furniture in the county clerk's office came from Hudson Blueprint. All of this came from Hudson. No, we've been a good customer, and they've been a good provider, but I don't think that warrants purchasing 2 chairs when we have chairs sitting right in there.
Well, I mean,
That have
he
been-
said they're bringing temporary furniture for us. Thought that was worth something. But I didn't know that we had bought a lot of stuff from them either.
Yeah,
And I'm sure that Donna would, not throw a hissy fit.
so, okay, we do have a motion and a second, but I don't see the justification for that. Well, we've got, I think, 2 chairs that will work there very well. Any other comments?
I mean, do we want to, what do we want? Are we gonna use the chairs and just get the desk, or?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
we will get long-term solution with the
Later on.
desk. I mean, it's gonna take a little effort, since we're on a short time clock, we've got a couple of weeks to get this accomplished. We'll get temporary furnishing moved in order to get it set up, and then go with the long-term solution as I'm working with them to develop that. So it's not something you can just buy. For one, CCL 1, it's gonna take that pony wall being moved, and we can buy a piece of furniture and put in there. CCL 2 is gonna have to
It's all
Gonna have to be
rounded features.
designed or built for that
Yeah.
courtroom.
Well, there's several temporary things going on here. One of them is to get that done with temporary furniture, because we don't know how it's gonna function till we get it in and use it a while, and then we'll decide if it needs to be moved somewhere else in the courtroom or redesigned. Then the other thing is, when we go to the new LEC, there's a good chance that there will be some changes made in those courtrooms anyway, which could change that up. So we got a lot of temporary steps in this deal,
Well-
over the next 24 months.
Well, these, right now, we're talking very temporary
Yeah,
until we can
just to
come
get
up
up and
with
going,
a,
get
with
up
a,
and get going.
Yeah.
with a solution on both of those courtrooms that'll be a long-term fix, so.
And when we do that, Hudson and other vendors will have the opportunity to be involved in that, as always.
When we buy furniture for the LEC, is that in the contractor's deal? Or is that something we're gonna do?
No, that's an FF&E side, that's our cost.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the 70 million, but we will
Yeah.
be handling that, it's outside the contract.
But it's outside, so you don't have all the marketing on it.
Well, that's my question.
Yeah.
That was my question.
And they'll certainly be a bidder in that.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
and just also, information, we're looking at another outside source besides Hudson Blueprint, just to satisfy the board's pricing.
Well, we've had others have asked, when we get to that point, they wanted to bid it. And given the amount of dollars in that,
We ought to have several bids.
yeah.
We're working on that. Will's been working pretty feverishly on that.
Cool.
I'll get you, I've got some different things that come in, and I've stuck them in one spot in that huge folder on that project. I'll try to pull those out and get them to you, so. Okay. Okay. We do have a motion unless you all want to withdraw it. Go ahead and vote it.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Okay. All right. Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve the item as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Aye.
Aye.
Hey, you too quick.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, Commissioner Beecham, update on Law Enforcement Center.
Project's continuing to move good. Finally did start pouring some walls last week. We'll continue to pour the tilt-up walls. Schedule right now shows that we should be standing walls the second week in July. Crane will mobilize. Pretty interesting process watching them pour the exterior walls because they're making a concrete sandwich, if you will. They'll pour half of the 9-inch thick slab, or not, a little less than half. They let that set, they put foam insulation board in, and then they pour the remainder. So it becomes a insulated wall with the foam insulation sandwich in the middle.
What is the reinforcement for the concrete on those, Mark? Is it a
It has-
metal
Yeah, it has a metal.
It's rebar in it. I
rebar, no
believe
flat
so.
metal?
I had seen that they have the rebar, they have some of it stubbed up, so when that sandwich is made, you've got connectors.
It's
It looks
all the
like,
way
it looks
through.
like what that's doing.
I see.
But it's a real interesting process when you're out there. Everybody from plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, everybody has to sign off on the panel that they have all of their stuff in it. That
As they
double
pour it.
checked it before they'll pour. So.
And then what ties one
Go
panel
back.
to the next panel? Is that welding?
It's
Panel
welded.
ties.
Panel ties?
Panel ties.
Zip ties.
No.
Yeah.
Now, if you go out there right now, you see slabs and then there's an area of dirt between the slabs. That area of dirt is where they'll excavate, they'll stand the slabs up on the piers that are poured. Once they get them stood, they connect them all together, weld it all to the
Piers?
to the piers, and weld them to each other, and then pour back the remainder. So there's an area between each slab that's missing concrete.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's an interesting process,
Oh,
to
yeah.
say the least.
You're not gonna dig out with a sharp spoon.
No, no.
No.
But all that has to be coordinated with the crane path and how they stand the walls, and it's getting into an interesting part of the process at this point. But I have really nothing else than that, other than we finally got some concrete poured on walls. I think they poured portions of 9 panels so far.
Okay, any questions, any other comments? Well, it's, I don't know whether all of y'all have seen, I know Will and the sheriff are familiar with these worksheets. They turn out and list everything that's going on and all the meetings they have. It is not just get out there and look at the plans and put the forms up and pour. It's a different process.
Our packet that we attach every week gets bigger and bigger and thicker, so.
Yeah, well, there's 21 days we've lost due to rain delays in that, so.
We've been fortunate that it hadn't been some torrential stuff that has allowed them to kind of come back in.
They've done well because they put in the storm sewer drainage and everything from the site first. So they were able to keep the majority of the water off.
of them and let it dry.
And they work feverishly when it does rain to get whatever standing water out of there.
Right.
So in any areas that they're working, they bring in crushed run, so they're not stomping around in mud. But they've rescheduled some of the pours and how they're doing the pours in order to catch back up, so to speak. They say we're not behind schedule because they've done other work out of sequence, but as far as where we should be on pouring walls, they're a little behind schedule.
Right.
I think one of the most interesting things is all the discussions they've had about trying to move the crane around to tilt up the
Yeah.
panels, and I'm thinking, guys, this isn't the first time y'all have done this. But what they wanted was assurances that when they put the crane on one of the slabs, that it wasn't going to break up. Because otherwise, I'm not sure how they would have gotten around to do that. It would have.
That's another really interesting part of the process. They build what's called paper dolls. And it's just what it sounds like. They make paper mock-up of the building and all the panels, and they set them up and figure out how the crane moves through and tilts each wall up in sequence, so they get their sequencing right, because they only have one shot at lifting a panel. If they don't get it lifted into place in the first shot, that panel is void and they have to start over.
Well, the other thing was the first one in this checking process you talked about, they found out it was upside down.
Yeah, they had set it on the slab upside down, so it wouldn't.
Top was on the
The
bottom.
top was where
Yeah.
they couldn't have lifted it the way it was, so they had to flip it.
So, all right, we're down to public comment. Anyone in the audience have anything? Mr. Hampton, you want to report on football game, how well that went?
Actually, well received, Judge. We had a good crowd, great game, and appreciate everybody's support. I tell you, Wichita Falls can be proud of this. This is not just a Shrine deal. This is a Wichita Falls affair.
Yeah, notice it was
I suggested
televised.
next year that vote tape recognize all the county officials. So, hope you guys will come prepared to speak.
I saw it was televised. Watched a few minutes of it.
Yeah.
Looked like a pretty good game.
It was a good game. Yeah, it was televised in 12 different
Markets?
stations.
Really?
And complete throughout Louisiana.
Really?
Yeah, big time.
Throughout Louisiana.
Throughout Louisiana. So
Wow.
I'm not sure what the significance of that was.
Well, we're just trying to show them people down there what it's like to play real football.
I'm not sure this
Oh, I think LSU can get that done.
I'm just.
Yeah, they're all from Texas that play with us.
I just tell you what I'm told.
You know, and I think there's a bunch of the kids that were playing in the ball game going to some Louisiana schools. I think there were several commits to.
Well, I recognize, I didn't recognize them, but I saw several guys come in that nobody knew, and they were obviously scouts.
Yeah.
So it was really
Good deal.
looked like scouts to me. You know.
Good for the community, good piece
Came
of
in
our
with clipboards
history.
and all
Okay.
But they were
Sure.
really good kids too, I want to tell you that. We fed them Wednesday night, Thursday night, or I would participate. We fed them every night, of course. They were really good young people that came to do the right thing. They were motivated. Coaches all said they were highly motivated, did exactly what they were told to do. There was never any challenges or problems. Midwestern put them up in Killingsworth.
Killingsworth co-ed now, I think.
I don't know, Judge,
I know you tried to make it when we were going to school out there that way.
I thought they were-
Easy.
Bet it sure wasn't then.
Maybe the barracks are still there.
Yeah. Actually, some of them still wore, yeah, but,
We wouldn't mind having some of them hang around and play for the Mustangs this fall, as a matter of fact.
There's about
Several of
half a
them.
dozen of them.
Yeah.
That signed up for Midwestern.
Tell us about
And
Bill
they're pretty
Brown.
sharp kids too, because I said, you're staying here, and I remember coming up here with a date, and this youngster said, you mean this dorm was here when you were in school? I didn't go for him for MVP.
You just didn't tell me it was for air conditioning and electricity.
Brother Bob, tell us about Bill Browning.
in the Spanish classes.
Bill's a retired highway patrolman and also a licensed veterinarian, and son of a well-distinguished lawyer here in Wichita Falls.
Mhm.
Years and years ago, Bill got involved in learning Spanish and speaks it fluently. As a matter of fact, we go to church together, and a couple of months ago, I just happened to glance over and look at his Bible, and it's a Spanish Bible.
Wow.
And I said, well, Bill, that's a hard enough book to understand without putting other barricades up there, and he just laughed, you know. I said, do you understand that, or are you just trying to? Of course, his Bible's all beat up. That's what Merle Anthony always told me, when your Bible's beat up, your life usually isn't. So, but anyway, I said, you
And
know,
on Wednesdays?
I'd always loved to learn Spanish. And he said, I'd love to teach you. And I said, how about coming down to the courthouse? I know several people that I've talked to that learn how to, would like to learn how to speak conversational Spanish. And he said, you set it up, I'll be here. So we're gonna try to do Wednesday at noon for an hour, and everybody.
Where are you thinking, Bob?
Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. I need a classroom. I didn't know whether this was available or not.
That may not be available much longer. It may be a temporary office space.
Can I use
But-
Wednesday though?
You don't hear, that's not starting moving them in there.
No,
Yeah,
no, yeah, this Wednesday.
yeah.
And then just be thinking, I think it'd be a good idea, as many guys as wants to, learn how to
See,
speak
Learn how to say cerveza, por favor.
I think most everybody's got that.
it.
Okay.
I got pretty good in my college days.
You ought to mention him about becoming a certified interpreter.
Yeah.
I will be shit here. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I thought we were booked up on it.
No, we're not. We're low on certified. We have interpreters, but we don't have enough certified interpreters.
Well, I'll tell you, he'd be a natural, because, you know, with his
Yeah.
highway patrol background,
Law
he's
enforcement
retired,
background.
sergeant major, you know. So he's
Yeah.
no beginner.
All right, Sheriff Duke, you had something?
It just sort of the hills of Bob, because we started speaking about the shrine. I just want to report that, last weekend, the shrine convention was here, and, happy to announce that we didn't have any shrine or arrest or mason arrest. That doesn't happen often in Texas, but.
Yeah.
No hardly feelings.
I was gonna say, it's different when we have the KA reunion here, though.
That's not sure. Okay, so,
Even though there were reports of a motorcycle on the diving board.
this is on the third floor of the hotel.
Well, I appreciate y'all jumping in there and hitting the parking lot, really looking sharp. It did, and it allowed the Shriners to set up over there to headquarter the parade out of. And I saw it, and it was a nice job, so, and it was quick, so thank y'all.
And also, Commissioner, they provided security out the game Friday night.
Oh,
Those
wow.
guys showed up, they looked very professional. Steve, Fondo, Brian, they mingled with the crowd, they were
I don't know about you, but I would not mess
First
with
class.
Rick Fonda. Not at all.
I know for a fact to shoot you.
they were first.
He didn't shoot me.
All
The
right.
guy did shoot, from the electric incident, thanked him, because he was in jail again, thanked him for not taking his life. He said he was definitely a veteran officer. It was a huge factor in that young man's life at point, and although he's still in the criminal justice system, he's very thankful that, he said it changed him, obviously. And he thanked him for not taking him off this earth because of
And
that.
Deputy Fondo's got muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles. I'm not messing with him. He's fat.
He's strong.
He's true.
You put him and Darrell Walton together, it's right behind.
Yeah. Yeah, God.
Yeah, Darrell, he's running back.
All right, Commissioner Beecham.
The only thing I have, just a really quick update on Amoresco project. The two jail boilers are in. They look way different than the Quanties that used to be down there. They look like mainframe computers instead of boilers, so. That job's kind of taking a slowdown right now, or waiting for some deliveries. Next thing to be delivered would be the two boilers for the courthouse, so. If you had been down in the boiler room, it looks way different without that big monstrosity down there.
Echoes and
So, about half the size of what used to be down there, and way more efficient and work better, so. That project's moving right along. Other than that, I have nothing.
Okay. Commissioner Harvey.
We had the Juneteenth celebration in Burke Burnett this last Saturday. With jump houses, food trucks, mud volleyball, a lot of vendors, gospel music and jazz music in the amphitheater.
That mud volleyball's contagious, and that catches on, and people, that's fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. But anyway, we did have that this past weekend, and like I said, it's our first event, or first time to have that event. So maybe it'll grow a little bit more next year.
Okay. Commissioner Muller.
Well, I had a great Father's Day weekend. My son came in unexpectedly from Phoenix on Friday afternoon. His brother and his mother kept it a pretty good secret from Dad, so I was shocked when he come strolling in the living room Friday afternoon. It was glad to see him. Hadn't got to see him since January, so that was a great visit. Don't forget the Bridge to Bridge cruise Saturday night. This week on Jacksboro Highway. It's gonna be a real fun event, great location for that.
A lot of effort in
A
planning
lot
that.
of effort planning. We've got lots of auction items and items to give away, raffle items, and Tommy Smythe, Mark Hogue have worked hard on that. And of course, we're gonna, headquarters will be the Crazy Cars, Harry Patterson's museum over there. They had free sign-up Saturday, I think, registered 150.
Is that by the Dodge?
Well, yeah, it's gonna start right there at the Patterson dealerships, and it goes all the way to Southwest Parkway up and down Jacksboro. It's a
Okay.
great place for it. It's wide, you've got 2 stoplights, you've got plenty of parking on the side.
45-mile-an-hour speed limit.
It's gonna be a really, really great place, and I think that thing will grow, and of course, it's gonna be a fundraiser for veterans, and that's always important, so. Got plenty of time to sign up, plenty of time to come out, whether you wanna bring your hot rod, or you just wanna come watch, it's gonna be a fun deal, so. We're looking forward to it. I gotta get one of my old hoop tees out and get it dusted off and get ready, so. it'll be
We talked about this early on, but I guess we need to follow up. I think Cedar Ridge
They're
Aviation
supposed
was
to be
gonna
there.
bring a couple of helicopters and give helicopter rides up and
Oh,
down.
wow. Well, you know, they've got the grocery store parking lot,
They've got
that big
lot of
parking area, that'll be
Uh,
nice.
There's
You got
just
Kickapoo Airport right there.
Kickapoo Airport.
There's,
lots. It's just,
Galaxy Center. There's all
Yeah.
kinds of places to send it.
Just a great location. I think it's gonna really be well received, so that'll be a fun deal. A lot of tailgating, a lot of cougars going, I'm sure, and, we're looking forward to that. Once again, great effort by, Patterson folks and headquartered out of his museum there, so that'll be a fun deal. But just, I think it's be an event that'll grow and grow very quickly. Anyway,
All right, very good. Mr. Watts?
Inch and a half of rain in Iowa
Yes.
Park Saturday night. I was shocked.
we had two at Farm, North Carolina.
Wow. And I knew it was scattered. At Electra, we were fortunate not to get as much, and it was both just lighter showers, less than half an inch both times, and so that was a blessing there, but it slowed us up again a little bit, but it's surely going to warm up and let it start drying, and a lot of plan maneuvering are going on, trying to get game plan put together to coordinate, I guess, everybody's efforts to try to get some of this chip seal down, and it's got us on top of everyone now.
We are behind.
Yeah.
Well, and precinct 3 and precinct 2 are gonna even be further behind and not able to assist with your chip sealing until we get that dirt hauled with the road project. If it would just dry up,
Yeah,
we could
I know.
just get it done.
Don't wish too hard.
I know.
Yeah, you might get more dry than you want.
So
My fault, election will dry again.
I'm amazed
Yeah.
at the number of culvert projects that have surfaced because of, just soft ground, and those culverts that are weak or old and long in the tooth are now starting to show up, and
That along with 1,000 bushel loads of wheat.
that's right. That makes them
Jeff,
really.
those old culverts are just rotted and there's nothing in the bottom.
Yeah.
And when you mash on it, it just
Yeah.
comes together.
Yeah.
So,
These new culverts that Leon and Don, and I guess,
We've got 'em.
Them things, I don't think they'll ever wear out.
I don't think they'll rot out.
No.
We put set in last week, we lost one to a truck, caved in and put that, whatever they, plastic rubber, whatever.
Yeah, they're
But
corrugated,
ribbed,
they're
and they
ribbed.
are
So easy to work with.
Not
too.
corrugated, but ribbed.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, they're ribbed.
Very easy to work with.
and they mash down, they'll pop right back out.
And
Yeah.
they're just about half the price.
Well,
as
we're
they-
putting a 60-inch in on Brogdon Road where old covered has silted up down low, and we're gonna use a big one there.
I think you'll be very pleased with that new product.
We have been.
And the sleeves, the way they go together,
Pop them together.
man, you just
A lot easier to handle.
snaps together and just roll it off in the hole.
Yeah.
When do y'all plan on chipping?
As soon as,
It dries up.
as early as next week, I think, Mark, they're trying to get something coordinated. They've been setting on go here.
We're ready to go except for mowing. We got a week to get the mowers out.
We got to.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to.
We've mowed some with one bat wing, and it's been difficult. I noticed the state had done the same thing on a lot of 368, 367. They're able to get a wing off in the.
They're keeping the tractor on the road and
Yeah.
just dropping a wing off
Yeah.
the side.
Yeah. It's just
That's
it's
what
just
we're
too
gonna have
soft.
to do. You just, what do you do?
Yeah.
But when you got waist deep grass,
Well, and lastly, I don't know, and Commissioner Muller may have heard, but my wife's convinced that there is a new technology out on mosquito deprivation, I guess is the word, for, it's a
napalm.
a
Close
birth
their wings
control deal, and that somehow they're drawn to these, you go into the corners of your property, the trees that reflect them the most, or a hanging area in the corners, and they're attracted to those, and I guess it does something that stifles their,
It's a pheromone, and they're very similar to the fly, which we discovered through research would only mate one time. If they mate with a sterile mate, then that's it,
They're
they're
done.
done, the cycle stops, and that's how we eradicated the
Okay.
screwworm in the Southwest. The research proved that we didn't know that a fly would only mate one time, but that's the, I mean, mosquitoes the same way. They put a pheromone out to attract them to that sterile mate.
You remember back in the 50s, they used to drop them boxes out of them airplanes to get the, what was it,
Blowfly.
the blowfly.
Yeah.
We found one of those boxes down on the river bottom. It
Is
was
that
marked
not
United
wild?
States. We went to
Wow.
agriculture. Merton's grandpa's got it.
Wow.
Cool.
It's neat.
That
It
is
had all
neat.
these holes in it, and it just released all these sterile flies, I guess.
Well, and interesting you should mention that because I've talked to lots of folks lately and they really truly believe that the future to eradicating wild hogs, which are just doing millions of dollars worth of damage, is gonna be a similar
Scenario.
Similar scenario. That's what they're working on right now, so. Hog deal continues to get worse, doing lots of damage.
Yeah, they were showing one of the cemeteries in the county the other night. I guess that's,
Bellevue
Yeah.
and then,
just tore that cemetery.
And
Yeah.
they're easing into town. They're getting closer. It's not gonna be good.
Then Lake Wichita
When the
Park.
pet poodles begin to disappear, there's gonna be an uproar. I'm
Well, out
telling
there at
you.
River Creek Golf Course, they had to put up a hog wire fence.
yeah.
I mean, it was several hundred feet of just hog wire.
Years ago, River Creek had a problem with the wild cattle down on the river, valley of Wichita, the Red River. They would come up
Yeah.
and they'd go out there and get all those grains and just destroy it.
There is a stack of hay, a high stack of hay out on 368. I drive by there lots of times, either late in the afternoon or in the morning. Hogs up on the top, eating their way down into that thing.
I keep waiting.
On top of what?
Brown bales.
Yeah,
Brown bale stacked up.
there might be.
Be a great barbecue there.
Yeah.
Just like
David, I've encountered those
Yeah.
cattle on the Red River before. Kerry Waters and I had gone after some, after a washed out fence down out Pumpkin Center Way. And one thing we realized that the volume of cattle that came to water when the sun was headed down was atrocious. And I don't know if they populated themselves, if they're actually, somebody gathers them off of there. We had checked into it at the time, and a lot of them act like deer. You know, they're very flighty.
High-headed.
Yeah. But I was blown away with the volume, and that's been a number of years ago.
Most of those cattle were gathered by Duke Smith.
Really, and
Yeah.
Okay. Wednesday at noon, there's going to be a historical marker dedicated out at Canaan, at the KMA Volunteer Fire Department, recognizing the KMA oil field and all that. So that'll take place out there. I will be in Austin for the commissioner or county judges education committee meeting where we're setting curriculum for the fall and doing that. And then today, Republican women are having their monthly meeting, and the speaker today, and this ought to be kind of interesting, is on the Electoral College as to why we need it or don't need it. And so, you know, that I'm going to be curious to see what the spin is on that. No. Anything else anyone brought up? We have anything on any general budget discussion that needs to be covered this morning?
well, there were two items, Judge, that we, at some point, we need to review. One was Commissioner Muller and I sat in on the some truck option that we were shown this past week. And then also the word back from Wells Fargo if we wanted to consider refunding or reallocating the initial funds on our tax-free note and their correspondence, as well as Murphy's correspondence, and looking at that and what's going to be entailed in doing so. But both of those items are something that we, I guess, need to.
You're talking
get
about the
some-
7-year note, the tax
Yes, sir.
anticipated revenue.
What is our plan, Judge, on, we're gonna begin to meet
Willie and I are gonna go over it. I'm gonna try to make a list of the things, the departments that wanna come. Nancy will get them scheduled in.
There are a number of personnel bills that
Well, yeah.
just in my meetings that I've had. that-
Well, Willie reported the other day, it's roughly $700,000 in requested increases. And,
That's a penny.
so, that's one of the things gonna have to be dealt with there.
I haven't heard, and the sheriff, you may have an update on developments with the jail coordinator bonding office. Has there been anything new or any decisions thought about location and?
Just from what we talked about the other day in the meeting, we should have discussed that other option or idea about the JP.
Okay. One thing to point out, Judge, before I get off track, and how many years in law enforcement, Dave?
37 today.
37 today. Wow, that is very
Yeah.
good.
My arthritis from all my injuries of my career tells me about every morning.
Well, 37 years to be a young man, that's a good thing, to have 37 years under your belt, still
You
be.
start when you were 10?
It wasn't far above
I was
that.
18, I was the county judge there. They told me I wouldn't be there 6 months. I like challenges. Interesting. Very interesting, the old jail. The old jail is nothing like we have now. Robert Penland is the only person that understands what the old jail was like. He worked in it, on the old side upstairs. I just classify it as a dungeon. It was horrible. This is before the Texas jail standards are the way they are now.
Wasn't as many rules, were there?
It was bad. Wasn't no much air conditioner at all, ever. Was no TVs.
Sounds like the jail was a good place not to be.
Just a bad place to be.
Yeah.
We had 103 beds and we had average daily population of 150.
Wow.
Imagine this level.
Can you
Well, and there was
imagine?
also a city jail then, too.
The city had a city jail, but everything class B and above, they transferred
Yeah.
over. We had to take them all.
Yeah.
Even then, we were still taking 5 to 8 people a day booking in. We didn't have a booking center, we just had a counter in the jail office, and it was bad things happening.
Do we have our contract final with the U.S. Marshals now?
We're good.
So we'll start the new billing rate when, June 1st, or?
June 1st.
Good.
That's a good project to move forward with in the new facility.
It's good.
Yeah, only took 9 years. All right. Anything else? Then it is 10:49 and we're adjourned.